Senator Francis.
Welcome, Minister Miller. On August 20th, the Canadian press reported that it had obtained a copy of a 2015 agreement which confirms that Canada not only paid their legal bill, but agreed to and forever discharge Catholic entities from their obligation to raise $25 million for survivors under the Indian Residential Schools Settlement Agreement. Could you tell us who, why, and how this decision was made, and what steps, if any, your government is taking to correct it?
Monsieur le Ministre.
Thank you, Senator. And this is something that our team has been seized of ever since I was named the Minister of Crown Indigenous Relations. Indeed, it goes back to 2015 and a decision by the prior government to keep itself to the terms and not to continue the court case against the Catholic entities involved in the agreement related to residential schools. There are elements of that agreement that talk about the disclosure of documents. The necessary cooperation has to happen between Canada and the Catholic entities that people could look at in retrospect and say this is something that's desirable. But at the end of the day, you're looking at a deal to indemnify one of the co-conspirators of the Indian residential school system, namely the Catholic Church and the Catholic entities that perpetrated unspeakable evils on Indigenous communities and broke their spirits, which is a key element of quote-unquote removing the Indian from the child. Canada had its role to play. But again, when you look at a deal among the parties, from the distance that I have several years later, it looks like a bum deal, particularly with the billions of dollars that are necessary to put people back in the position that to the extent financial resources can do so, for unspeakable harms that people are still suffering for and transmitting from generation to generation. Look, this is equally an indictment of the Catholic Church as it is the Government of Canada. This is work that we need those churches involved to particularly provide information to get to people so they can get an element of solace, some closure, and perhaps some accountability. So, you know, pointing fingers is one thing, but a lot of them point inwards, and we've got some work forward in producing results for people. Thank you, Monsieur.